the vinyl one. Hey, what's up everybody? Hopefully this is the last time I have to set this up and make a video on it. I've made a couple of videos on it just because I've had a lot of requests. I didn't know it would get as big as it kind of did. I made a lot of different options in the plans just to be like, everybody's budget's different, their planning's different, what they're going to use this for is totally different for everybody. And my channel's more towards beginner maker. They're usually super heavy plexiglass. It takes like 3 or 4 guys that you have to go set up with. They have to rent a big old truck. It's just a lot goes into the overhead of maintaining one of these, right? And then doing the vinyl. It can really add up. And so I was like, well, maybe I can find one where I can make it for a couple of $100 for those people who maybe they can't afford that option. They were like want to make their own in their backyard for a quince or for their wedding or something like that. They're like, well, we're not gonna pay that, and then the price can really go up renting these. It's worth it if you have it in your budget. Definitely recommend it. You don't have to deal with any of the hassle. It's worth to have somebody else deal with it. But for those budget-friendly options for those who want to make this, and that's kind of what my channel is geared towards, people who want to make their own simplified version. This isn't the professional one. If you have table saws, you have dominoes, you have a bunch of jigs and track saws and routers, and you can do all that stuff. This really wasn't geared towards that, but I did get a lot of people reaching out who's kind of doing stuff like that, and they use the plans and they changed some of the material to make it a little bit more sturdier. Like they use like 2x2s or 2x4s, and they really made it sturdy, especially if you're using plexiglass, which really wasn't intended for the smaller one. I did, and it works out great, which is like the 4 foot by 8 foot. Definitely recommend that one. It works out great. You can travel, fit in like most trucks, super simple. But for the larger one, people love the larger one, but you're gonna run into that issue. And I've put it over and over, but I still get messages, emails like, oh, I can't find plexiglass. I know that's the reason I did the vinyl option. And for the bigger one, that's why you saw the one I made was vinyl, because even in my city, I'm not in a small city, but there isn't plexiglass that size. I would have to get it shipped. And plexiglass that size, from when I was looking, you're looking anywhere from like $500 to $800 for that size. It varies depending where you're at, and then also you would have to get it shipped. And for me to get it shipped in my state to where I was at was like almost the same price as what the plexiglass was, because they have to get like an 18-wheeler to come drive it and drop it off my house. They're not gonna, or like a big box truck to come like drop it off, because it's 6 foot by 8 foot, you know, it's something like that size. You can't just pick it up in a truck, you know, so it's a big thing, and it's, you have to make sure it doesn't break. It's so a couple of $100 just to get it shipped. And so I was like, you know what, let me find the vinyl option. So it definitely, it works, but it's not, it's meant for more if you're a do-it-yourselfer and you understand like this is not the professional looking one. This is not plexiglass. This is not what that whole setup entails. But I did put it in the plans because I figured some people might try it, and I'm like, all right, if I was gonna try it, I would add plexiglass. And some people have done that, and they've also changed some of the stuff to make it work out for them. Just a lot of people just wanted some of the links to the stuff I have, or the measurements to kind of how I built mine, and they kind of altered it to make their own, which is great. Try to help out as much as I can, but the plans were geared more towards vinyl for the larger one. I am actually going to cover 2 topics that I get requested a lot on this one, and one of them is the cover, the plexiglass, vinyl, the different options for that. We're gonna go over that in a minute. And the second one that I get requested a lot is putting a roof on. I did a curtain from the top, and that worked out for me, but I know some people would want a roof. That's why I got a request. I did the roof for the A2 version, which is the 4 foot by 8 foot one. Man, that works out awesome, super easy setup. But I never did this one for this one, and I was like, well, I don't even know if it'll work. And so, you know what, so we're gonna build one today. We're gonna try it. We're gonna put a roof on this. I'm actually gonna build the same roof that I did for the A2 version. I'm just gonna build it right now. Alright guys, so that's the roof. It's not painted white, not painted. You will see that little 1x2 coming across. If you want, you probably can do exactly what I did with the A1 and just put another 1/4 inch board on the inside. It'll be the same measurements for that. Yeah, the only real thing is measure the distance from here to here, and then also you're gonna want to measure the distance from here to here, just to make sure you're exactly where you need to be. I'm not gonna make any plans for this. It's pretty simple. I think you see it in the A2. You do get a little gap here, but that's actually perfect because you can still put your lights. You can actually attach your lights to here if you want, and it still gives you room for this attachment if you're doing vinyl. Yeah, and then it's not really visible from up here. So yeah, hopefully that was helpful. Now let's jump to the plexiglass. All right, this is a section that probably everybody's been kind of waiting for, and this is the one that I've gotten a lot of requests about. So I originally built this, remember, for vinyl, and I was like, that's a pretty cool way to do it. Works out if you're on a budget, works out for vinyl. This is vinyl. I think some of y'all remember this from a video I did, and you'll see it. This is vinyl. There's two different vinyls. There's the ones that I purchased on Amazon. They range from anywhere from $10 to $20. They work out well. Those are the ones come folded, almost like a bed sheet, so you can spread it out and kind of even it out. In person, you'll still see some creases, but in photos, you don't really see the creases as long as you stretch it out, right? But that's not really professional. I'm thinking if you're renting out, you definitely want plexiglass. I covered that in the beginning video and multiple videos. If you're like, if that's your idea, you're gonna need plexiglass, and this wasn't geared towards it, but there's some options. If you want to, I definitely put that in there, especially for the A2 version has plexiglass. It's just not the big one. It's the 4-foot by 8-foot one, just because that's the biggest one you can get from other stores. So with vinyl, there's also some rolled vinyl. I think there's even some on Amazon rolled vinyl. I purchased it from a website. It's I have it linked in the plans, but it's just basically rolled vinyl, and that's what this is. So it comes out a lot smoother. It doesn't come folded. It's in a long roll, so you don't have a lot of those creases, right? But it really is only a one-time setup. I've tried to use it. So this is removable vinyl that I put on this vinyl, but since it's vinyl, it really doesn't come off clean. And I tried, and it kind of just sticks to it, and you get a peel, because when you're peeling it, you're pulling on it, and when you pull vinyl, it stays that way. So anytime you're like really stretching on it or pulling on it, it's just not. So this is kind of, that's why I tell people it's a one-time use. So you're building it for maybe your daughter's quince or something. This works out perfect for that, especially if you're on a budget. I think this one was $60. They only sell it in by yards, but you'll need 3 yards to be 9 feet. So you'll buy 3 of them, but they don't send you 3 individually. They send you the 3 yards all in one row, which will be 9 feet, and then you cut it to the length that you want. That fits best for you. But this is a one-time use. Order for maybe you're on a budget and you want to do something like this for a wedding. This works out great, but it's a one-time use. And especially after I unrolled it, and I put the vinyl and I tried to roll it back up again, I didn't roll it tight enough, and I ended up making my own little creases in there that weren't there in the beginning. I guess when they come from the factory, they roll it tight, and so when you unroll it, it looks clean. So if you're able to and you have the time, the best thing to do is unroll it that day, which is kind of dangerous because you don't know what you're getting. But when you unroll it, you'll actually be able to put the vinyl on yourself, and it looks pretty smooth. But if you do it like the day or two before, just because you want to double check, just have maybe 2 or 3 people with you to roll it back together, and make sure you roll it tight and there's no creases in there. I just rolled it together, ended up having creases when I set it up, but I kind of pulled it just a little bit and kind of evened it out where it really wasn't noticeable in person. You couldn't see it in the photos, you definitely couldn't see it. So this works out really well. I think it was like $60. All that stuff's gonna be linked in the plans. So that was my idea for this one. And I know some people were gonna be like, I want plexiglass. And some people did, and they actually changed some of the stuff in the plans because they know this wasn't made for that. So they ended up using 2x2s instead of 1x2s, which will kind of increase the strength, but you're also increasing the weight. For most people, you can only get it like at Home Depot. This one's from Home Depot, right? But the biggest they sell is 4 feet wide. For this, you need 92 inches, 92 or 93 inches, but 92 works out good by 6 feet, right? So 8 foot is 96 inches. You can have them cut off the 4 inch if you're doing it this way, but These was made more for vinyl, but if you're gonna adjust it and you want to put plexiglass, you can get the thinnest you can, just because it is so heavy, and you'll have to put it where it's a whole face together. And if you're gonna transport that, you're gonna need like a box truck or a U-Haul every time, or a trailer every time you transport it, because that plexiglass is heavy, right? So that's why I did the A2 version, which is the 4 foot by 8 foot. That works out good. You can rent that out. That's plexiglass from Home Depot that almost everybody can get that size. That's a readily available size. But if you want the larger size, which would be the 92 inches by 6 feet, not every place carries them. Like near me, I don't have a place near me. I have to get it shipped, and it's, I think, anywhere between $400 to $600 for the plexiglass, and they literally want almost the same price just to ship it, because they have to get a box truck and their 18-wheeler to ship that big old thing to me. I'm like, that's already $1,000 in. When people, that's just not something that I was like, I'm not gonna do that, you know? So that's what kind of got me down the trail of doing the vinyl. And I did the whole setup with the vinyl. But for plexiglass, there is another option, since most people do have a Home Depot, but I was kind of told that it really doesn't work so well. But I was like, you know what, I'm gonna try it, is putting 2 pieces of plexiglass together. So I actually took apart my original A2 version, and I am going to use that one, and I bought another one, and these are about $160 for the plexiglass. So you're looking at what, $320 to do both sheets. The one question I'm still not sure, so I can either leave a 4 foot, right, and then do a 2 footer on this section, right, or I can cut them both down to 3 feet wide, so the line is in the center, which I think is going to be best, because you do have a line in the back that's kind of visible, so you kind of want to make sure it blends in. So if you are going to have the line, me thinking the best thing would be the line in the center. I really don't know how it's going to work out, but that's what we're going to try to do, that one, just because I've had so many requests that like they want to do it that way, and I'm like, look, I can kind of give you what I would think would work, but since I didn't do it and I did it for vinyl, I'm not too sure. We're going to do the plexiglass, two of them that I purchased from Home Depot. We'll put them together and we'll try to make the plexiglass. So that's the hard part with plexiglass. So definitely research it. If that's something near you, if it's easy, if you can get it, if you can go pick it up somehow, that's definitely the best option. But if not, there's the vinyl. There's not really an in between. So for the most part, you're gonna be either looking for the big section, or you're gonna have to cut out 2 pieces from Home Depot out of the 4 foot by 8 foot section, and you'll have a line. I'm gonna see how minimal, I guess you'll be able to see it and I'll be able to see it. We're gonna see what it looks like putting 2 together, see if that works out for you. Again, once I do that, that means this whole thing has to ship together. That whole front face is locked in together, and it actually has to ship that way, which that is not something I'm looking forward to doing, or I'm probably gonna take it all apart, just because this video is just to kind of show the people, because this is the #1 requested thing that I got was, I wanna put plexiglass. I'm like, do you have it available? No, they don't. I'm like, it's hard to get that size. So we're gonna go ahead and give that a try. I don't know if it's gonna work. It may look ugly, it may not. This is hopefully just giving you an option to kind of see what's best for your budget. Again, this was made more for vinyl, the simplified, budget-friendly version. If you have any questions, leave them down below. Let's go ahead and we're gonna try the plexiglass cutting 2. Again, I don't even know if it's gonna work, but let's see. I'm not really gonna install it. I'm gonna show it how I would install it, just because I'm not gonna use plexiglass. That's heavy. I wanna be able to take this all apart. I have that plastic, but or vinyl. But for those who wanna try plexiglass, foot off from both of them, so there'll be 3 feet, and then I need to cut the top down to 92 inches, and then again, I'm just gonna kind of put this in place so you have an idea of what it looks like. So they sell one on Amazon. It's aluminum and plastic. They sell ones that are just for plexiglass. Those are like $80. I think I paid $20 for this one, aluminum and plastic. It had mixed reviews, but you can really just cut this with a regular one. This is just a regular one, but I got the Ultra Finish 60 teeth. So if you look, it has a lot smaller teeth versus the contractor one for cutting 2x4s, which have bigger teeth. We're gonna take out bigger chunks and have a bigger chance of cracking it. But as long as you have it supported the way I have it supported like this or similar, then it reduces the chance of it cracking. So if I was cutting it off at the end of the table, towards the end, that weight will want to crack it, and then you have a better chance of snapping it. But really, as long as it's supported, I'm gonna have the table saw cut where it barely cuts through this. I'm gonna use this one because most people will have access to something like this. Just gonna cut it with the circular saw. I want this 6 feet, so we're cutting this at 3 inches, at 3 feet. If you're not sure, this is the last thing you should be doing. Plexiglass is always the last. Build your whole thing and then kind of measure, double check. It can be easy to be off by a little bit, and you don't want to mess up your plexiglass. So cut and get your plexiglass very last after you build everything and have it set up, if you're gonna try plexiglass. And the other thing, I am serious, you need goggles or at least glasses. Plexiglass, I guess it's because of the plastic, it shoots straight out like everywhere. I've gotten in my eyes. You don't want plastic in your eyes. It's painful. So yeah, use goggles. Don't try to squint through. No, it'll still get in you. Like, trust me, once you start cutting, you're gonna realize, like, man, that shoots everywhere, and that it doesn't even like follow the blade like normally wood. Most of it comes out this way. No, it cuts totally different than wood. It just shoots shards at your face. Well, it shoots them everywhere. Straight cut, I definitely recommend the rip cut from Craig Jig. There's a lot of different variations, but they all basically do the same thing. Get a clean straight cut. Then I'm gonna pick up the blade where it's not gonna cut the plywood. It'll cut through both plastics. See that? Place it on there. All right. Shoots everywhere, guys. No lie. Man, I even like closed this eye because it was still getting into you. So goggles is the best, but like plexiglass. I'm gonna use the clean factory side cut for the center. These are gonna be on the outside. Well, at least I'm hoping the factory cut's cleaner than mine. But if not, this was a clean cut. I did have to slow down a little bit. Twice my blade kind of got slowed down. I just kind of pulled back off, make sure I was aligned, and went again to Ryobi. Love you, Ryobi. I also had the 4 amp instead of the 6. If I had the 6 amp, it'd probably just go on through pretty quick. So hopefully I can save these and use this somewhere else. I know the other ones, I have some plans for like a future build. That's also why I'm just temporary, just to kind of show you how it's look. I'm gonna reuse those as another build for sign. I'm gonna make a video with plexiglass making signs. So remember, this is a temporary install, so I'm not gonna put the 1x2s the way I did with the A2 version, but you can install it however you like. To me, that was the best way that worked out, is I did the 1x2s, and then these are just quarter round moldings. You can get them at Home Depot or Lowe's, just as for like molding area. This is the quarter round one, and what I did is I put the 1x2. It's in the other video, similar, but like this right here, and then I put the plexiglass on top, and then I push this against there, right, so it can hold the plexiglass like that. And then I nailed from here into here, like with the brad nail down, and it held the plexiglass in here without nailing the plexiglass. And then when I did need to change it, because it cracked, because I was being an idiot trying to just rip it out, I don't know why, but then all I did is I used a little crowbar and then just propped it up, and I just peeled this off, and then the plexiglass came off pretty quick. So it's just a quarter round, but again, I'm just kind of propping it in there. I want to see what it would look like and how visible the line is, and that'll kind of give you the best option if that's something you want to do, if it works out for you. If it doesn't work out for you, hopefully this gives you some of the options that are available. With plexiglass, so it can be sharp. Now let's put this one. This one is a little dirtier. It's older. I haven't cleaned it. I have some Windex. I'll try it. This has me worried trying to get them lined up without falling. All right, I need to figure out a better way because this scares me. I'm gonna try to do this a lot better, guys. Give me a second. It's nerve-wracking. Let's see, this one already collapsed. So just for you guys, I'm gonna try to drill in so that side is in there. So when I do my other video about plexiglass, I was gonna show these. So the best one that I found so far to like drill through plexiglass is just these. I think they do have plexiglass drill bits. Not too sure. I was looking for a cheaper option, just like the blade. They have plexiglass blades, $80. I'm gonna buy that. Most people won't. So that was just a regular saw blade. I bought these for Harbor Freight. It was like a 3-pack for like $10, but you can get on Amazon probably for like $10 as well. They reduce the chance of it cracking just because they go from like a smaller to bigger, bigger, bigger. So that's what we're gonna try now. That went through pretty easy, guys. All right, guys. I'll probably put one more at the bottom. So I'm putting this one to pull it tight. I'm gonna kind of angle it down a little bit. Oh, I cracked it, guys. Don't use an impact drill or have it set to low settings. I have mine high because I was drilling through wood. I cracked it. Plus, I was getting all excited. This is gonna be the tough one. I gotta hold it up. But I should be able to maybe just drill it on the floor here. We'll see. You're definitely supposed to have this supported, but I'm just winging it. Second person would be really helpful right now, guys. I don't want to jinx myself, but it's coming together pretty good, guys. All right, guys. You got to remember this one is a lot older. This is brand new, so there's going to be scratches on this. Index and a microfiber cloth. I'm going to clean the front, then I'll come back and clean the inside. That's why plexiglass is just a lot better. Like, this is way older that I've had for months, just lying and putting stuff on top of it, just having in storage. And then I just wipe it and it's almost as clean as the other side. Oh man, that's pretty good. Yes, there is a little bit of flop in between this while I'm pushing on it, but it's not as bad as I thought it was gonna be. And especially if you tighten it or if you put screws in it, it's gonna hold a lot better. I literally only have like 4 screws just in the corners and like on the side. If you're brave enough, you can actually just still set this up separate, you know, like bring the plexiglass, drill the holes in, and then bring the plexiglass, align it and put it on there. If you're struggling with transport, that is an option, but that takes some guts to show up and try to put the plexiglass on the spot, not gonna lie. But everybody's different. Everybody's situation is different. And what works for somebody doesn't mean it works for everybody. So hopefully I put enough information on these plans, guys, that like you can find something that helps you, whatever you decide to design or do. It kind of goes with what best fits for you. I think that's it. You can barely see the line actually, like you kind of notice it, but not. That also might be because that looks pretty clean. You'll see the line right here. Oh, let me push it in together a little cleaner. It's very minimal. I'm gonna take some pictures. I'll show you right now, but it works out pretty well. I kind of like this version. So again, I'm not putting all the steps if you are gonna add plexiglass, just because it would be different. That's not the way I'm gonna have it. I'm gonna take it off and use that plastic that I have for now, because if I ever do decide to like rent it out, I really don't want to get a trailer, U-Haul. It's just a lot more. I can do the foldable one. The plastic fits in my back of my truck. Vinyl's an inexpensive option, but again, there are those wrinkles with it. If you're gonna rent this out, plexiglass is probably your best option. But I know it's hard to get that size, so that's why I put this video together. You would still have to figure out the best way to attach it for yourself, because technically you could probably just drill the holes where you want it and still have everything exactly the same, and then just cut it to the length that fits better, because I just kind of randomly just put it in there. But you can actually show up on the spot and just screw it in place if that works best for you. If not, you can actually screw it all together and you'll have a big old frame that you're gonna need to be able to transport, usually in a cargo trailer or something like that. But to me, that line in the middle, that's not even really visible. And honestly, a lot of people do it just because it's really hard to get that size of plexiglass. So there's about 160, so it's what, 320? I don't know if my math is right, but about 320 for the plexiglass. Again, if I was gonna get it shipped to my house, it's probably over $1,000. And then I don't know what thicknesses they have. You definitely want a thinner one because it gets heavy. And so if you do buy the plans, I do have videos that are just linked for people who buy those plans, and they go a lot more in depth. They have a lot more information, and it's just because I put so many different options, because everybody's circumstance is different and budget is different. So I have a lot of information on how it all goes together. I'm hoping this will be the last video, because those are the two main topics. Is people wanted a roof for the large one, pretty simple, and then people were figuring out like plexiglass. They're like, well, they want it to do professionally versus the vinyl, because you do have the wrinkles somewhat depending on which one, and it's more of a hassle. But plexiglass, you can go to Home Depot, you can get to, I think Lowe's even has it, but you might have to order it depending on certain Lowe's. They're the ones I ordered, put together, pretty simple, works out pretty good. I like the photos that I took, so yeah. All right guys, hopefully this video is helpful for you. Plexiglass roof. Last thing to cover, some people are like, how do I get rid of the line? The best way to do it, I covered it in one of the videos, is use a clamp. I think I showed it earlier. Clamp it super tight and then use the screws, and then you can take off the clamps and the screws will hold it really tight, and it makes the line seem seamless. I don't have any screws or bolts. There's just two clamps holding this up right now, but if I did, I would put the clamps, tighten it, and then use the screws, tighten it, and this line would be almost invisible. The lights, you don't have to do them exactly the way I did them. You can just, even for the newer one I have, I only use 3 lights. I put a light here, on the top and the side, but place the lights wherever best fits you. The lighting, however best fits you. You're gonna wanna think about that. There's just so many different options, so I don't wanna put one way. You have to do it this way. I just show you the lights, show you kind of how I hooked it up. If you make this separate into pieces, a whole piece, everything will change on how you kind of put it together. So hopefully I have enough information on the videos and the plans that kind of whatever you're going for, you can do. So thank you for watching, guys. I'll catch you guys on the next one. Oh, I forgot. Let's put some lights in there, because that definitely changes everything. Once you put the lights facing down, it clears everything up. Whoo! That's bright, guys. That is bright. Man, you can't even really see that line. I tell you, once you turn on the light, everything's focused on the back. You don't even see that line. See, there's the line, but it's not really visible in pictures as well. But this is what you want. You need plexiglass if you're gonna do it professionally. Oh, you can see my other magazine box. Even my doorway, I made it an arch. I tried something else. It's a big headache. You can do that. It's just a simple, you don't have to follow exactly what I did here. Just make a little doorway. You can if you want to. But yeah, this is it. Again, I just kind of screwed the 4 corners. Do it better. I'm gonna take this off. I'm gonna use this plexiglass for something else. But yeah, I did build one. It's kind of behind you right now, but it's that one's 4 walls, and that's built. That would be kind of similar to this one. Everything's the same. It's just it's separated 4 walls that kind of hook in together. Right now, this one folds and bends in. Guys, I'm inside the magazine booth. I actually took off the hinges. So with my plans, they come hinges to fold. Again, this was focused on transport and just kind of storage. Easy fold, and you can set it up. It's pretty simple that way, especially if there's maybe 1 or 2 people doing it. It's easy just to kind of fold open like a sandwich. But I know some people rather prefer having all separate walls, especially if you're probably gonna do the big plexiglass whole setup one. That may be a little bit different, so don't be afraid to kind of adjust the plans to how you feel. But also, if you did want to have all the walls separated, so this would be the back wall, and then what I used before is just I clamp it tight and then I run some screws in the back, right? I've shown that before. But for the sides, it's folded. I took off the hinges. You can see the spot where the paint's off. I took off the 4 hinges that I have there, and there's a different way you can attach it, so you can actually have all 4 walls separate, and then you would have your face however you decide to build that. I will show a video because I did kind of build a separate version. The measurements are pretty much the exact same as this one, except I tried building it in a different style. I ran into a lot more issues. I won't make plans for that. I won't make anything for it. I try to make it a little different. I try to get fancy with it. It works. It's just showing people how to build that and making all the steps to it. It's going to be a lot more complicated. So this is pretty simple. That one's the exact same thing. But with that, it does have the walls where they separate. And so you kind of hook them together. But if that's something you want to do here, I'm just going to show you. It's pretty simple. So there's really 2 options. I do this on, I think one of the plans I'd had for the updated, the A2 version, the 4-foot by 8-foot magazine box. I use these are bed rail clamps. They're linked in the plans. That's pretty much it. I like these. They have other bed rail clamps that you can probably use. I just like the way that these fit on the placement here, and how they kind of have a little they lock in. I don't know if you can see that right there, and then the bolts just kind of go on top, and that's in there solid. So I like this, but also other people have used stuff like this. So these are just like little clips like this. I've used these before for shelves, but you can also just put these on the sides as well somehow. Just kind of give you an option depending on how you're building it. This is something to think about if you'd rather have these. The only thing with these is you will have to use, similar to this as well, you will have to use a router or multi-tool, or you could probably even do it just a little $5 chisel from Home Depot. But basically you have to cut off a little bit the width of this in here, just like if you're putting a door hinge. So if you're not sure what I'm talking about, Google or go to YouTube and search door hinges, installing a door hinge, and you'll see they have to kind of cut out the outline, just this little the same width that this is in there, so this is flush with the actual wood, right? So you can just go search that on YouTube, installing a door hinge, and you'll see how they kind of chisel that out. You can chisel it, you can use a router, which is a lot better, or you can use a multi-tool, or you can do a lot of different ways, but you're basically just chiseling out that little section for this to sit flush, because if you don't and you try to put it on there, it's gonna push it out the thickness of both of these, which gives you a gap like that big, which is not great to look at. You definitely want it flush. So that's the only thing. That's one of the reasons I didn't really show this in here, and that's what I had to do over there. I had to kind of chisel out. I just used my multi-tool and just cut out a little square for this to kind of slide in and sit flush, right? So you will have to do it. You'll do the same thing with this or this, because you want it to sit flush. I've seen people use this. This is just not what I prefer, but this does hide it a little bit more. This pokes out on the outside in the little corner. What is that, like maybe ½ an inch, which doesn't really see. It's not noticeable. But these hide it completely. I haven't done these, but this is also an option somehow. And then yeah, so if I showed these, but they interlock just like that, and so one will be on the other. I've used these before. I'm gonna show you how to do this, and again, you don't have to do this. This is just options. I know if people see this, they're like, how'd you do it? You just put on the hinge. And really, you kind of have to look at it to figure out like, oh, which way do I want it? You definitely want the big hole on top, so once it slides in, it locks in. You don't want that at the bottom. And then I'm gonna show you how you can place it here. There's probably a lot of different ways. I'm probably only do 2. Again, I'm taking this all apart. I'm not gonna leave the plexiglass on. I'm gonna use the plexiglass for something else. But I'll probably show the setup of how I do the bigger one that I have over there, which again is similar, but it's not the same. This one right here, we're gonna flip this way. We're gonna use these 2 screws, and we're gonna screw it into this side. Again, it will be sticking out, what is that, like maybe 3/4 of an inch, something like that. You will need to chisel out this little section so this sits flush, right? And then this one, just like this, we're gonna screw these holes right here, right? And then when you bring it in, this will lock into this. Like that. Just like that. So really you only need 2. Have one at the top and then one towards the bottom, or like the middle section. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I'll try to screw it in real quick so you have a better idea. You can do this however you want. I'm just kind of showing you this way. So remember, this is like that. This is the back. I'm gonna screw these right here. This is just for show. We have this one right. We're gonna screw through these 3 holes. We wanna make sure we put it in, right? And then we're pushing it up to make sure it's locked. This isn't exact, but that's pretty much the way it goes. So yeah, again, I really didn't align this. You definitely want this kind of sticking out a little bit more. So this would have to come out a little bit towards us more. You really wouldn't even see those tabs. You see? You'll probably have one towards the bottom and one up there. But if you don't want those, you can do those black ones as well. Just kind of practice with it to see what works best for you. So this is the one that's made like that. There's bolts that I tighten in the back, and then these are a separate wall and a separate wall, and then you have your bottom and your top pieces. What do you think, guys? I'll show you right now. So it felt like it was like 20-25 minutes. I don't really remember, but for one person. Show you all the inside. I just added those. The lights, I only have one right there, one at the top. Goes this way. And I had to replace one of those wires, but it literally just plugs down to here, and I have it coming out on the side that people don't walk in so they don't see it. So you see, I pulled on that cord setting up right now, so I probably got to do some better cord management. I think I pulled it out. That's why that one didn't work, but I also have a couple of spares. And what's cool about these guys, so if you are doing plexiglass, I don't know if this will work for vinyl, but for plexiglass, they're static cling. So this is vinyl that was cut in a Cricut. It is a pain to do, but this is static cling. I had these printed at a print shop locally to me. They were really well. This was, I can't even remember. It's very inexpensive. It was like under $100 for both, and this one's a bigger than that one, but these are reusable. You just use Windex, spray it on, and then kind of push out the bubbles on everything, and it stays on there. And technically I should be able to peel it off and reuse it if I need to, but I don't really have the spot to hold it right now, so I'm gonna leave it in there. But these are reusable, so I was thinking about getting like Vogue or something. I don't know how it's gonna work out, but maybe and I can just put the letters on there and then just peel off when I don't use them. just stuff that people use all the time, and that way I only have to customize a little bit. But even then, if I am going to customize it, I might just get everything static clean. That'll get rid of all this vinyl, which is a pain to do. All right, guys, let me show you this, even though I know people are going to be curious about it. But this thing is easy to dent and scratch. I'm not gonna lie, I spent a lot of time with different companies trying to get that manufactured, and a lot of money. So I'm still hopeful, still kind of working with them, and we'll see what we can get done. But yeah, you can see them in here, 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 here. I will tell you, I tried, guys. So there's actually, I was hoping to create a third option, right? And so that's kind of what you see here, what this is, right? It's the same thing as what this is. So I'm not even 100% sure really what it is. It's some type of plastic. So what I did is I reached out to manufacturers. There's not anyone in the USA, but overseas, to different manufacturers, from people who make a plexiglass and everything like that, and kind of told them what I wanted. I wanted like something like a material like plexiglass that would at least roll, so I could roll it away. You know, like I told them something similar to like a cricket mat. You know how it folds and kind of goes flat. So that's what I was thinking. So I reached out to a bunch. Some people, I got a bunch of, yes, we can make that, but then the sizes, they were like, oh, we can only do, the biggest they'll do is 4 foot by 8 foot. And I'm like, well, that doesn't do me any good. You know, back to the plexiglass, especially what they're going to charge for that. So I kept reaching out, and there was so many people and getting samples and stuff like that. And it was a big that I've been doing. And finally, I got a company that said, you know what, we can make it that size. We can make you something that size. I'm like, I don't care what it is. Get it to me, ship it. They're like, we'll do a sample. And so I got them to send me, it was a little bigger than what I needed, but they sent it to me, right? It was damaged by the time I got it. And since it's from another country, and I was like, well, I need it because I want to see it, right? So I air freighted it here. It took them about a month to make it and ship it to me, right? Because they had to make that size. So they made it, shipped it to me. I came, and it was all dented on the front. And that was air shipped over here. So that was about a month. This one's it. And I was super happy. I'm like, this will work. It's like plasticky, right? And it folds and rolls. And I was like, man, great. But it's hard to see, but it was a bunch of dents in it. Like, I guess, I don't know if it was them or shipping or what, but like almost like if, I guess this plastic is easy to dent. Like, that probably put a little dent in there, you know? And it's just like, after all that work, it really didn't work out for what I was going for. And I reached out to them, and this is like a big company. They take orders that are like shipping container orders. You know, this was just a sample, which was hundreds of dollars for the sample to get it shipped here. And it's not like, oh, okay, we'll send you another one. They're like, you got to pay on another sample. And it's just like, oh man, well, how can we avoid this? They're like, well, if you order a bigger roll, you're less likely to get dents. I'm like, really? I feel like I'm getting taken for a ride. But I went ahead because I liked the way it worked out, right? So I ordered a big roll, and that was still a sample size because, again, they ship container stuff. So, but I guess since they worked with me, right? And so that was a lot more money, a lot more. And then I got it here, and the first couple of rolls were kind of dented. But still, I cut some of those off, and I was able to get some to work out. And I'm like, oh, that works out great. And then when I was setting it up, it was, I also used this for another setup for like a Final Four style setup. And what happened is, this one they made different. And so This was similar. This is some of the leftover from the original one, right? You see how it's like covered in like a white cover? So this one, they covered it as well, but it had like some type of, I guess it was just whatever was there, or some type of logo of how to keep it clean or whatever it was, of just like cleaning instructions, right? But when I peeled it off, in certain lights, you can see it like embedded into the actual plastic. So I'm like, oh my goodness. You couldn't really see it, especially if you put on the magazine booth and you turn on the lights, you couldn't see it. But if you step back and like certain angles and certain lights, you'd be like, hey, there's like writing on there. And I'm like, man, oh, so close. And I was just like, oh man. So I'm still kind of trying to work with that manufacturers, see if that's something that's possible. And just what's going on lately with everything in the world that would increase the price dramatically. So I just said, nah, not right now. And I'm still working with them. And I'm just going to figure out, hopefully that's something we work on in the future that might be available. It's just, I wouldn't feel right trying to bring some of that stuff here and have them manufacture rolls and rolls and rolls, and then we still have all those issues. There was just some things I need to work on it if that's something that I was going to eventually kind of sell. So thank you for watching, guys. I'll catch you guys on the next one.